We conducted a diligent search, and it indicates that any such documents and communications are legally exempted or accepted from disclosure under Georgia law.
This is not, I think, what people are voting for. Crime was an issue, but in California, it's smash and grab robberies, it's violent crime, it's someone gunning down a healthcare executive. It's not political retribution.
First of all, former to-be President Trump is absolutely wrong. There's nothing we did as a January 6th Select Committee that violates the law, just because you disagree with the work of the committee.
Fani Willis refusing to deliver evidence that we know she has. Judicial Watch won a default judgment against Fani Willis. They submitted a records request. We know from Congress that Fani Willis had communications with the January 6th committee and suspected communications with Jack Smith, and Judicial Watch and Congress want those emails, want those records. They filed a records request. Fani Willis said, "I'm not giving you anything," and ignored them. And the judge said, "You're in default. You have 5 business days to give us the records or else." Well, Fani Willis responded, and we're not happy with what she has said. They say Judicial Watch announced today that Fani Willis is refusing to release any non-public documents in response to a court order that we read through here, finding her in default. Late yesterday evening, Willis's Open Records Department denied any records about Jack Smith existed and cited a series of legal exemptions to justify the withholding of the communications from the January 6th committee. The Willis office did release one already public letter, which was the J6 letter to Bennie Thompson. The March 2024 lawsuit that Judicial Watch was suing for records, in its lawsuit, they said that Willis said that she does not have any records, but we know that's false because Jim Jordan has a copy of the record from Fani to Bennie Thompson. We know she was talking to them. So then they filed and asked the court to declare a default judgment because Fani was not responding. She had not filed an answer to their lawsuit. The court's default judgment says the court finds Fani in default. Fani never moved to open default on any basis, never paid costs, never offered up a meritorious defense, and ordered her to conduct a review and send the materials within 5 days. Now, guess what Fani did? Here's her response. She says, "All right, Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton," this is Fani's office speaking, "members of the district attorney's staff, having conducted a search as directed by the court, the office provides the following response to Judicial Watch's request. Regarding your request for, quote, all documents and communications sent to, receive from, or relating to special counsel illegal Jack Smith or any employees in his office, a diligent search indicates that no documents or communications exist." We don't have any. We looked for them. So she just says, we looked, we don't have them. Here's my response. We don't have anything. Next up, regarding your request for all documents and communications sent to or received from the J6 committee or any of its employees, they say, we conducted a diligent search, and it indicates that any such documents and communications are legally exempted or accepted from disclosure under Georgia law. Now, the judge told us that identify records that are accepted from disclosure. And guess what? We have identified records that are accepted from disclosure. So she said, hey, the judge told me to do 2 things, okay? Do a search for records and tell you if I have any. Guess what? I don't have any. And if you do have any, tell them if they're accepted. Well, I found some records, and guess what? Every one of them is accepted. That's Fani Willis. And so I'm not giving you anything. They're subject to attorney-client privilege, confidential work product, and more. And there's an ongoing criminal investigation and prosecution that's happening. So Judicial Watch says they plan to push back in court against this disingenuous secrecy. We know a state court ordered her to produce these records. Now she's citing legal exemptions to avoid doing her job. So they are there doing work. Fani refusing to give over evidence. We've got pencil neck Shifty Schiff, who was on the J6 committee, who's now looking a little bit nervous now that Trump is saying they should all go to jail. Here's he on MSNBC.
First of all, in terms of what Trump is saying, I think he has a couple intentions here. He obviously wants to try to intimidate members of the January 6th committee and others who held him accountable. We did our oversight, as Chairman Thompson was saying, perfectly appropriate and more than appropriate, necessary. But he also wants to send a message to others in the future. Don't hold me accountable. Don't try to hold me accountable, because if you do, I will jail you, or I will sick my Justice Department on you, or my FBI director on you.
Fake a Russia collusion hoax on you, maybe?
Any accountability in the future. This is not, I think, what people are voting for. Crime was an issue, but in California, it's smash and grab robberies, it's violent crime, it's someone gunning down a healthcare executive. It's not political retribution.
He was the person who was demanding Trump be indicted for fake Russia collusion stories that he engineered with our intelligence agencies. Lied about it, smeared Trump about it. Now he's nervous that he's got caught. And they did all that to make sure that Trump would not win. Like, they didn't break glass in case of emergency and wreck 234 years of American historical precedent to indict a president without knowing that the end game was to stop him from regaining power. It was like the worst case scenario. They're going to do all this stuff and then Trump's going to win and turn on to us. Uh-oh. So Shifty's looking nervous. We've also got Bennie Thompson is sounding a little bit nervous out there, saying that Trump is wrong. They did a great job.
Over the weekend, former President Trump in an interview suggested that January 6 members should be jailed. Do you have any reaction to that? And do you think that a preemptive pardon is necessary?
Well, I'll take it one at a time, okay? First of all, former to-be President Trump is absolutely wrong. There's nothing we did as a January 6th Select Committee that violates the law. Just because you disagree with the work of the committee is no way to threaten those members of the committee with jail. So obviously that's his opinion. As to whether or not President Biden does anything with respect to that, it's his decision. I'm comfortable with the fact that as members of Congress, we were doing our job. And as long as we do our job, there are certain guarantees that we have. And I look forward to enforcing those guarantees.
Now, Adam Schiff, he said that he thinks that a preemptive pardon isn't necessary. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's not necessary?
Well, he's a member of the committee. He
So
absolutely has his right. I think that's a decision that is left to the president.
And then what do you make of Kash Patel? How concerned are you if he were to get confirmed to hold this FBI position?
Well, again, I think people in positions of responsibility to carry out those responsibilities according to the statute. I don't think you have to go against individuals because you dislike them or they take positions you disagree with. As a nation of laws, clearly we stand strong on the principles of freedom of speech, assembly, and all those things that are guaranteed by the Constitution. And obviously I would expect someone in his position to do likewise.
We'll see if there's any abuse of office and abuse of power. Okay, you're not allowed to abuse your office in order to bring truth to the American people and just call it legislative immunity, right? Menendez is being prosecuted because he was corrupt. Liz Cheney was acting with corrupt intent, just like the statute articulates. And so she should be prosecuted. But I came across this great clip from President Trump, who's not looking nervous at all. He's still paying attention to the fine details. And I absolutely love this clip for some reason. I just think it is an insight into the man and his attention to detail. And he's right. What's so great about this whole process is he's right. Watch what he does with this table and this water right here on the screen.
I don't think you want to have the water in the picture, right? You can take it over.
Watch.
Yeah, put it over there, Nick. Yeah, I might as well take the table. Oh, good, very good, thank you. You know what you can do, Nick? Put the table back, because it's missing something. Put the table back and put the water on the table without the thing on top of it.
Okay, hey, watch this.
Okay. How's that look? Go ahead, take it out. Yeah. All right. Right?
Nailed it, right? It's so great. That is just a fun clip. I think he's right. It looks better, and he's paying attention to details, even in this little scene. It's just such an interesting thing. And this is why this country is going to be made great again, all right? We're going to go in there, and just like this little scene, Trump is going to go through with a fine-tooth comb, with pencil neck Shifty, and with fishing Bennie Thompson. And they better be careful, boy, because he is not playing around. He's got an eye to detail, and they're in trouble.